Lots of things happening in city politics. The city council events of last week have prompted uh, a great deal of outrage, and today there's some kind of a display downtown at 2 o'clock, organized by the wife of an MPD officer. Can't blame them for their disappointment and disgust with what's going on. The county commission is a different governing body. Terry Roland has been kind enough to come by and join us. We like this guy because he says what he thinks and doesn't really care what you think about what he thinks. You can kiss his ass.
Well,
How about that?
it was more. It was more his entire rear end.
Yeah, well,
he did hold back a little
It's
bit.
very nice to meet you, and thank you
Thank
for
y'all for having me.
for coming in here. I think in the current world of politicians, it's refreshing to find somebody who says what he thinks and lets the cards fall where they may. You guys are dealing with the issue of Henry Brooks at this point,
Yes, sir.
and this came up last week, and you spoke out. Mike Ritz did as well
Right,
about removing her from that governing body.
right.
I don't know her. I don't know a thing about her as a human being. I know what her record is as a politician,
Right.
and it's not particularly impressive.
Right.
And the recent outrage and outpouring of what she said and what she has done has made a lot of people in this city unhappy and nervous. It just feeds into our racial division. And from your perspective, what's going on and what's the next step?
Well, it's very unfortunate. We live in a time now that we need to be getting along to get to move this community along. And with the antics that she's pulled here recently, it's kind of been over the edge. Actually, quite frankly, the news media is the one that actually found out that she's never lived in that house.
Yeah.
Not only the residency issue, she's got several problems. I mean, when you sign a petition to run, you sign under the penalty of perjury.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look at her disclosures and you look at her the things she turned in to be able to run on was a complete fabrication. So she's got to still has to deal with that. And I'll tell you something else she's got to deal with. She used county money. Every year she puts out a red book.
Yeah.
And she sends it to her district. But this year she sent it out 2 months before the election, and she sent it out to everybody's district.
What's in the red book?
It's just like a magazine, and it's got all different kind of numbers from the county and stuff. But what made it illegal, she's not supposed to do it 6 months before the election.
Yeah.
And she did it 2 months before the election, and she sent it out to every district but hers.
Well, now she has kind of a pattern of, let's say, strange behavior when it comes to her past jobs and her past positions. So her last comment was that they had to prove that she didn't live there.
Yeah, how tough can
How
that be?
tough can that be to prove that she doesn't live there?
It's not tough at all. First of all, when I heard the deal on the news about her not living there, I just very easily went through light, gas, and water to find out she's never had utilities there. She has utilities over where her daughter lives, and what's really, to me, it's kind of sad that somebody would go to this extent. But when she signed up to run for the juvenile court clerk, she took the lights out of the utilities out of her name and put them back in her daughter's name. So I mean,
It's all public record.
It's all public record. I called the county attorney yesterday, and I told him, I said, we got to have some movement on this because the law is clear. The county commission, we don't have to debate it. We don't have to sit there and fuss and fight about it. The law says that she has to, if you leave your district, you have to step down. But now we go a little bit further than that. She's never lived in that district, or she hadn't lived in that district since 2008.
Which brought upon the idea that either you brought up or somebody did that her recent votes of the past months should be discounted and not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the reason why, there's so much talk about, especially from her, about disenfranchising people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you let somebody's vote stand that is serving illegally, you're disenfranchising everybody else in the county.
Right. So what is the next step? I mean, there doesn't seem to be any lack of proof of the situation. I mean, this has upset a lot of people, her antics, and yet she remains defiant in the face of all of it.
Right.
She seems to have the backing of the Horton family, which is a whole different dynamic. So what is the next move on this whole thing?
Well, tomorrow, I think that the law says that all we have to do is declare the seat vacant. And if you can declare the seat vacant, then it's over with. We just have to appoint somebody else. I mean, we don't have to vote on it or anything else.
So who would you appoint?
We would have to have a process, have people come in and interview. And
apply for the job.
Right.
Terry Roland is our guest. We have also a copy of the flyer that she was passing around. Who got this piece of paper?
Everybody that was up on the 4th floor the other day.
Okay. This top of this says, "Wake up, people, you know the drill. Concealing their racism and conspiracy to repress and destroy black power in Memphis
What?
under the cover of conservatism, Tea Partyism, Republicanism, and right-wing religious fundamentalism, Commissioner Terry Roland has initiated a witch hunt to destroy the career of Henry Brooks."
You gotta be kidding me.
Nope,
Really?
I'm reading the son of verbatim.
This is great.
As they did the Shep Wilburn. And for the same reason, they did not want Henry Brooks to become clerk of juvenile court, to clean it up, to uncover the corruption, racial injustices, and so on. Terry Roland, you and your House Negro minions must be made to stop and end the witch hunt persecution of Commissioner Henry Brooks. Are we on?
House Negro what?
House Negro minions.
Ah. How do you get some of those?
I don't know.
I don't even know what one is.
House Negro minions. Commissioner Brooks has done nothing to deserve the effort to scandalize, smear, and denigrate her name and character in the media, and she most certainly has done nothing to warrant being removed from office and not being allowed to run for juvenile court clerk. Then we go on to a message to the African American, leaders, ministers, and churches. So of course we eventually get to the church thing, and we can start, quoting scripture and such. Let me play a little bit of Miss Brooks and her attack on the Hispanic gentleman who came to y'all's meeting about a month ago.
Your situation does not compare to mine. What you're experiencing as a minority probably has been blown out of proportion here. It's not about you as a minority. It's about giving black folks in Shelby County who are trying to get employment in Shelby County, who pay taxes. Not to say that you don't, but who have a history where there is a pattern of intentional discrimination against black folks.
We go on down here to the bottom. P.S. Inquiring minds want to know. Anybody know a city councilwoman named Pat Vanderscarf?
Scaff.
It says Scarf here.
Wow.
Did she serve on the city council? Did she live on Davies Plantation Road or some plantation way up 64 Highway? Was there ever a move to destroy her, unseat her regarding her address? Why not? Was it because she was white? If not, why? This is utter insanity.
It really is. It really is. It's a shame that 2014 that this city has not moved forward any more than that.
No, it's been pointed out before that things are as bad as they've ever been.
Look, I come from the country. I was the only white kid around when I was very small age. And look, we didn't see, the only color we saw was green, and none of us have none of it.
Yeah.
So, On the county commission, who is it that still vocally supports Miss Brooks? Mr. Chisholm?
Mr. Chisholm and Commissioner Bailey, I think those are the two.
How can they, in their right minds, support the ongoing insanity of this situation?
I have no idea.
Now, when we go back with Ms. Brooks and her past, first of all, she's running for juvenile court clerk,
Oh,
which I would think would require some set of skills necessary to do that job. I don't know what those are. I don't know whether she possesses them. She obviously no longer works over at Methodist Hospital. Whether that job was something made up just to get her a paycheck or not, we don't know. But she's not doing that anymore, so she's looking for something. But when she was representing this area in Nashville, her whole refusal to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, things like that, rubbed me the wrong way. But what you just read is, I mean, that's slanderous.
it's like a joke, but
to,
it's
that's
not.
to Terry, using him and calling him out by name.
Right.
And the crazy thing about it, I'm just questioning where she lives at. I've not tried to get her off the ballot. So that thing's accusing me of trying to get her off the ballot, and that's not been my stand total, so.
How often do y'all meet? Every other week?
Sometimes twice a week.
Right. So you see her in person when you meet, and how do you all communicate, or do you?
To be real honest with you, for the last 4 years, I personally have not had an ill exchange or a word with her. She's said some pretty bad things to me, and I've learned, just to bite my tongue.
Don't react. Yeah.
Don't react, because that's what she's wanting. She's wanting you to react.
Yeah.
And she plays off that. So, but it got to the point this time where somebody had to do something. I mean, she was completely out of control. And at the end of the day, it's about the integrity of the body. Now, we've had our problems on the county commission, and I'll be the first to say that I've had, my transgressions. Hopefully, I'm maturing with this job. I was just an old country boy stepping in here, and I hope that I'm getting the hang of it, But it's all about the people. It's not about these personalities. And if anybody that goes into office, if they want to make it about their personality, please do something else, because we need folks that's going to do stuff for the people.
Is there any way that the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, according to a listener, could look into this? I mean, fraud in Tennessee is defined as intentional deception or misrepresentation made by a person with the knowledge that the deception could result in some unauthorized benefit to himself or someone else. Surely Ms. Brooks and her constituents have a right to know if she is lawfully representing them or not.
Absolutely. And I welcome an investigation. I'm going to tell you, I've had several things that come up since I've been in office. They hadn't proven me wrong on any of them. The deal with Sidney Chisholm, a couple of those, we had a split decision. He got off on a technicality.
Mm-hmm.
They never proved that I was wrong, that he didn't do what he did. But we have to be more transparent in what we do, and I think the people that have a problem with me, or the problem they have with me, is I am so transparent. And I do, the decisions I make are well thought out. I mean, even let's go back to where, when my politics first started, I ran against Ophelia Ford. I lost by 13 votes. We had 27 dead voters. So
So that's how your reality in politics began.
Absolutely. And then I'm not supposed to just stand back and let people
walk all over you.
Walk all over.
Well, and by walking all over you, walking all over the people that you represent.
Absolutely.
And your district.
Let me give you a little, if you don't mind. You brought up the kiss my whole entire rear end thing. Well, that was well thought out. Let me tell you why. They were putting together a 28-member school board that was totally illegal.
Yep.
I was telling him, look, you're going to get a suit. I couldn't get anybody's attention, so I pulled the table out there, and the commercial appeal was really giving me a hard time. Well, they're the ones I told that to, not the people of Memphis, not everybody else. That comment was directed at the commercial appeal, and how many folks in Shelby County and Memphis has been wanting to tell the commercial appeal that? I just couldn't help it.
We got an email. I want to read this real quick. It's from a guy named Jimmy, and it gives us a little hope for the future. It says, Commissioner Roland Drakensek, I'm a 21-year-old black man who's both soon to be an author and a junior at the University of Memphis, majoring in political science. I'm seriously considering a run for Memphis City Council in 2015 because of all of the questionable decisions and choices that have been made by our leaders in the executive division and the administration and the legislative division, City Council, especially with what happened last week with the city budget. With all the controversy surrounding Memphis politics and Shelby County politics in recent weeks regarding both race and accusations of constant false conspiracies and questionable leadership, personal character, both inside the political spectrum and outside. Leaders, the only thing they're are about is their personal agendas and not the agenda of their constituents. My question to you is this: do you think it's time for my generation, 20 to 29, to take on some of the responsibility of these offices that are being sought by the same old people, and maybe representing your constituents with honor, pride, and dignity as you would handle yourself and your business of government, and trying to get people out of the red and into the green? What are your thoughts, says Jimmy?
Well, I think that what he just said, and this has been discussed on this program by various people, that until the young generation wakes up and starts to offer their vote and their thought on what's going on, we're going to have the same rehashing of the same stuff and the same people. The good old boy network is alive and well, black and white, and that's what's going on, and not just in this city, but in politics in general. And this younger generation is so soured on the whole process and how ugly it is. Guys like him, I think, are a rarity.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But people like him need to stand up and speak up and go vote. But they don't have any hope toward fixing anything. None of us do anymore. Because we watch this nonsense go on over and over again.
Well, the only thing we can do is look to the Lord and put our best foot forward. And I'm asking, I'm working with Justin Ford. He'll be coming back with me this next term,
Okay.
and we're going to make it a big deal getting along.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to like somebody to really get something done meaningfully. So, we're just going to take the message to everybody in Shelby County. Racism has no place in Shelby County.
Well, it's here, but it sure needs to, somebody
to go.
needs to rein it in, because it's a real problem. And
Really?
we see it in print right there and in our faces every day.
House Negro Minions.
Well, I don't know what that means, but I don't think you are one, are you?
No.
Okay.
Grandmother was Dutch.
I don't understand any of this.
But that's not going to stop me from.
No, I don't think it will. I don't know. I hope that some of these people are stopped, because this is poison in this town.
Absolutely.
And it's got to cease, or we're going to all be in more trouble than we're already in.
What bothered me so bad when she used the word lynching the other day,
Yes.
and she knows how that incites people in this
Yeah.
area.
Talking about people hiding under sheets and stuff like that, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously well thought out on her part.
I suspect that that maybe her reign of terror is coming to an end. I guess we'll know more about that this week.
We'll know tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow's Wednesday. We'll look forward to hearing about that. Terry, thank you for the time and for being
Thank
so
y'all.
candid, and we appreciate your coming down here.
Well, thank y'all for allowing me to serve you. It's an honor.
Thank you, Terry Roland. We'll be right back.